Welcome to the Stix episode 19. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. To start, we're gonna, as usual, recap our favorite teams' games for the week, starting with our Thursday night games that we covered in episode 17. First of all, with Carolina and Minnesota. Now, you can see the picture here, Giovanni Ricci. We'll talk about him later. But the story of this game was really defense for Carolina. Actually, I guess the story of the game was our starting quarterback, Max Johnson, getting hurt, breaking his femur, which that's really it really does suck. Luckily, assuming he gets a medical red shirt, will be given 2 years of eligibility, so he'll get that year back. But it really does suck. This is just a really bad offensive game. We couldn't really do much. I mean, we ran the ball a lot. Obviously, when you have an All-American running back, you're going to run the ball a lot. But neither of these teams' quarterbacks could really get an offense or could really get a pass game going. And it was just a story of field goals, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Carolina wins this one 19-17 after a Minnesota missed field goal to end the game. Moving on to State and Western Carolina. I'll let Aiden talk about that for a little.
For a while, this game did not look pretty.
No.
Western Carolina came to Raleigh to play some football, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at one point, State was losing for, I want to say most of the game, either winning or they were either tied or losing. Western was up 21-17, and then after that, it was all NC State. In the second half, uh, their offense really picked up. Jordan Waters finally got the ground game going in the second half. I think he had like 120 some yards and two touchdowns in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And Grayson McCall really picked it up too. He looked a little shaky at first. He was throwing behind receivers, missing wide open receivers, but he picked it up. Um, I believe he had two touchdowns in the second half. I believe that's what it was. He had three total, all to KC Conception. Which shout out that man. He saved us this game. He had nine
Mm-hmm.
catches, 120 some yards, and three tutties. But Western actually
A little
played
team
really
they
well
have.
against us. They got a look good little FCS squad there in the SoCon. Their
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, Cole Gonzalez, was preseason SoCon player of the year.
I also think he
I
won.
believe
So
that's
I
what it
think he won
was.
SoCon Player of the Year last year as well. That's why he was a preseason winner or prediction
Yeah, he was pretty good. He had 211 passing yards, two touchdowns, no picks.
and a really
And
big
on top of
run.
that, on top of
Yeah,
that, he was Western's leading rusher with 75 yards.
and it was pretty much
Um
all on that one long run in like the
yeah,
first half.
yeah. But that's pretty much it for this game. NC State ends up winning 38-21 in a game that we really thought was going to be a blowout. NC State was not able to cover that 33.5 point line, but
Mm-mm.
oh well.
Moving on to a pretty disrespectful line. Um, I love my boys as Charlotte. I was rooting for them, and I really do think that we are going to improve this year. But man, it looked treacherous in this game. Um, I don't want to talk too much smack on my own team, but I mean the score shows JMU looked. I know that Charlotte doesn't have the best team, but JMU deserves a little bit of respect. They do. They didn't announce their starting quarterback until like the day before or the day of. No one, everyone thought that it was going to be. I don't remember his name, but he was a kid out of Washington. Everyone thought it was going to be him, but no. Alonzo Barrett comes in and is a starter, and he looked really amazing as a dual threat quarterback. He was able to pass and run the ball,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was just too much for Charlotte. They couldn't really do much, and then they did not score the whole entire second half. Now, one bright spot of was the defense, though we did give up 30. The defense showed a lot of promise. Um, they looked really good in this game. Really good stretch, but they looked very good. They looked pretty good in this game. Definitely something to look forward to. Moving on to ETSU versus App State. Aiden and I were both in attendance for this game, and let's just say we're Aiden's a little bit of a magician. I'll let him explain that one.
All right. To start out this game, we kick off to ETSU. ETSU punts us the ball, pins us back inside the 10, I want to say, inside the 20.
Hmm.
I turn around and I look at Drew and I look at all my friends that I'm at the game with. I say, guys, watch this. First play, we're going to hand it off to Kanye Roberts. And second play is a deep shot touchdown.
Hmm.
They snap the ball, hand it off to Kanye Roberts.
Gets
He
like
gets a little
two,
bit of
three
yards.
yards.
Gets
Yeah.
like 2, 3 yards. And I
Not,
go,
yeah.
guys, watch. Snap the ball,
Chewy Aguilar drops back.
play action, drops back, launches that ball to Christian Horn for an 83-yard touchdown.
We went
When I tell you I
crazy.
lost my mind,
Everyone
oh
lost
my
their
God, I
minds.
lost my mind. That was the craziest thing I've ever called. And what a start to our season. On our second play of the season, we go 83 yards to the Casa. Joey
Hmm.
Aguilar finishes this game at 326 yards and 2 tutties, 0 picks. Not a crazy game, but I'll take 326 passing yards and 0 picks. I will take that.
Definitely, definitely.
And then also we couldn't really get our ground game going, but I don't want to say that because we didn't necessarily have one guy who was getting the ball every play.
No.
No one on this rushing stat sheet really stands out. We did have 174 total rushing yards, but our leading rusher only had 47, and it was Mekhi Jackson who caught a jet sweep or end around or whatever it was and took it 47 yards to the house. And then Joey Aguilar on top of that had 2 rushing touchdowns, one of which he came in the end zone, did a little TikTok dance. But um, onto the receiving game, Christian Horn obviously had the 83-yard touchdown, but he had 2 more catches and ended the game with 89 yards. So a little lackluster, but we'll always take that 83-yard touchdown pass. And I want to say play of the game, Joey Aguilar drops back, throws it to Caden Robinson in double coverage. He jumps for the ball and he's practically horizontal parallel. I just
Parallel.
combined parallel and horizontal. Horizontal. It's practically parallel with the ground. And he catches it with one hand and he brings it in while falling on his back. And it was a fantastic play. Um, and ETSU actually wasn't a horrible opponent. They put up 10 on us. We didn't cover the 34.5 point spread. And at halftime, the score was 17-7. So it was close for a little bit until we just poured
After
it on in the
half.
second half. Yeah.
Yeah. Really good game from App State. And they have a good one. We'll talk about that a little bit in a second. And just to go over the games that Aiden and I, the game of the weeks. I mean, this was no surprise. There isn't
Yeah.
really much to talk about here. Comes in didn't look great. Honestly, I would say both the teams didn't really look phenomenal first half. But in that second half, Kirby Smart must have flipped a switch on his team because Georgia turned it on and didn't look back.
Yeah.
This was a blowout. And I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but there's not much more from me.
No, I think you covered it all.
All right. Moving on to the next game. Miami absolutely destroys Florida. Now,
Uh-huh.
I knew
Uh-huh.
Miami would win. I didn't think they'd win this bad.
This was bad.
And those Miami players, man, they were disrespectful. They went to, I don't know if you saw, they went to those Florida recruits. They were like, "Don't come here, come to the U."
Yo, there was the dude who was in the bushes right in front of him.
Yeah, I know. I
That
don't,
was
it was,
hilarious. And they're
it
all just
was
looking
just.
at him.
They all looked really good.
Uh, also, did you see the clip of Xavier Restrepo tearing that dude's ACL on the spin move?
Yes, I did.
That was bad. That was bad.
It was horrible. Florida did not look very good. Might as well put in DJ Lagway. Just because Graham Mertz is just wasting his senior season at this point.
Yeah, Grammars did not look good. He only had 91 yards and a pick.
And
But
everyone was like, Graham Mertz is an elite quarterback. They've been saying Graham Mertz is an elite quarterback since he was at Wisconsin. He's not. He's just not. There's a
yeah,
reason he transferred. Anything else you want to add on?
no.
Moving on to the Sunday or what Saturday night cap or college game day. Texas A&M loses 23-13, and I think we're cutting off that 13 for Texas A&M, but that's the final score of that game. This was a lot closer than the score might suggest. It was a one-score game up until like the last minute, and Notre Dame's defense was for real, man.
Uh,
Notre Dame's defense was for real. Jeremiah Love was running the ball well. I think his name Jeremiah, but
yeah, it was
looking
Jeremiah.
he replaces Audric Estime really well, and Riley Leonard did Riley Leonard stuff. Wasn't really
Yeah,
passing the ball a whole lot, but he's a good dual threat quarterback, I guess you could say.
yeah,
He beats his former head coach.
he got it going on the ground there.
Yeah,
Um,
and
uh,
Texas A&M just looked horrible offensively,
yeah,
at
dude,
least.
Connor Wayman, however you say his name,
Yeah,
uh, 12 of 30 with 100 yards and two picks.
just not what you want to see out of your
Um,
starting quarterback for a top 25
no,
team.
no,
Not a
not
good
at
start to the
all.
Mike Elko era for A&M.
Yeah, and Drew actually picked Notre Dame or A&M in this.
A&M, I did. I thought they could win this game, but they didn't. Now let's
I mean,
not
I will say
let's not
that
get too
home
ahead of
field
ourselves
advantage
here.
is
You know, we,
why
we
is
can we
that?
can all we can all be wrong, can't we? As we
I
move
mean, we
on to
all
USC
right,
versus
all right.
LSU. Aiden picked
No,
LSU. I picked USC. I told you Miller Moss was the truth. And now that
um,
you've watched this game, am I wrong or am I right? Am I right?
Miller Moss is good.
He's a
Miller
stud.
Moss really put me. He put me to sleep on Monday. This was no, was this a
It
Sunday
was
or Monday
Sunday
game?
night.
Sunday.
Sunday night.
He put me to sleep on Sunday, bro. He
Yeah,
showed
he was a
out. Granted,
stud.
he only had one touchdown, but this guy right here, Kyron Hudson. Oh my God.
If only this
Oh
catch
my God.
was a video. We can see this video.
I I don't even think this was his best catch he made. I think his best catch was on
No.
that fourth quarter drive, less than 2 minutes. He catches the
Yes.
ball and gets rocked immediately. I was literally in awe. I was
It
like,
was
oh
a
my God, this
suicide
guy's so good.
ball.
It was, but he caught it, and Miller Moss had to fit that into a window too.
And Kyron Hudson is crazy. And it almost kind of just makes you forget that this team has an All-American in Zachariah Branch.
Uh-huh.
I
And
mean,
he was doing his thing too.
This USC team is has a I wouldn't say has a huge shot to win the Big Ten, but they could definitely play a spoiler. I think that the team is good
They're
enough to play
definitely
spoiler.
good. They're definitely good.
I'm
Now this is at zero fault to LSU because they also played a very great game. Garrett
They did.
Nussmeier was 30 of 39 with 308 yards, two touchdowns, but a pick. And Kyron Lacey, number two, rocking that Jay Jettas. Um, he showed out too. He had a beautiful catch in the back of the end zone.
That he
And then
did.
he almost had another one, but he was out of bounds. But I mean, this LSU team is good too. Both of these teams really played pretty well, and
Did you
it
see
was a
what
fantastic game.
Did you see what Brian Kelly, LSU's coach, came out and said like in the pros game presser? He said that
Um, no.
their their quarterback outplayed or that USC's quarterback outplayed LSU's quarterback. And I'm not totally sure that's 100% the truth, but regardless if that's the truth or not, you don't that's how you lose that's how you lose locker room chemistry. Why not take a good head coach would say that he got outcoached. Like
Yeah,
throwing your starting quarterback under the bus like that is just not. And when I mean
yeah,
I've known that Brian Kelly is not a good guy, but that's just like you don't do that.
yeah. And the worst part about it is Garrett Nussmeier played very well.
That's what I'm saying. He and that
He,
one pick was literally the last offensive play for LSU. He had to be aggressive. It's not like it was a bad. I mean it probably was a bad read, but he had to be aggressive. So you just you
yeah,
have to throw catchable balls for both teams there.
exactly.
So this was a really good game. Probably and it by end of season could be up there for game of the year.
It was a fantastic game.
And I believe that that wraps it up for this week's game slate of games.
We ain't talking Florida
Recap.
State. We ain't talking Florida State.
Nah, they don't deserve us to talk about them. Moving on to the offensive
All
player of the week.
right.
Now, this is the here. I'll explain how this is gonna work. So for until the end of the year, every week we will pick an offensive and defensive and a special teams player of the week. Now, Aiden will alternate. So next week I'll do offensive and he'll do defensive and special teams. For this week, Aiden did offensive, and we'll either pick two guys or one guy, maybe even three. It all depends on how
I couldn't
the
decide. I couldn't
yeah.
decide.
I just kind of followed Aiden's suit, but we'll let Aiden go over these guys because they had some
All
pretty
right.
amazing stat lines.
All right. So I tried picking one. I really did.
You
But
just can't.
at the end of the day, you can't with these two stat lines, bro. Ashton Dainty with 20 carries, 267 rush, six. I can't even count that
Six
many on my one hand.
touchdowns. That's more than like
Six
half of FBS the
touchdowns.
FBS games.
Are you kidding me? That's crazy. This dude is for real.
Against an
And
FCS
looking on the bright
opponent
side,
too, or FBS
yeah,
opponent.
and yeah, they played Georgia Southern and Arizona on the other hand with Teteroa, T-Mac. They were calling him T-Mac,
T
so I'm gonna
Mac,
call him
T
that.
Mac.
10 catches, 304. He had over 200 in the first half.
Like
Four
that is
touchdowns.
wild. Granted,
Like
it was against
and
a New Mexico team that it lost to an FCS or FBS opponent last week, but still,
still, like you're putting up you shouldn't give up 300 yards to just one guy. The Noah Fafita's throwing
no,
the ball all over the field, and this man only touches it 10 times, but he gets 30 yards a catch on you.
that's
Are we for
just
real? Oh my
that's
God.
just
And I know his
crazy.
first touchdown, he was wide open. It was blown coverage, but to do it nine more times and average 30 a catch and get four touchdowns is just unreal.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for him because we might be talking about both of these guys a little bit later. Moving on to my defensive player of the weeks, and I had one, but I saw that Aiden went for two, and so I just decided to add on to another guy and be a homer. My original
The
guy,
homer
of course,
pick.
as you can see on the left here, is Christian Ellis, who you would think with 8 sacks, it's crazy, right? You would think he's a defensive lineman or an edge, right? No, he's a safety. He's a safety.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's a safety.
And
Uh,
I just want to preface, I was talking to Drew and I was like, have you seen the college football sack leader has 8 sacks, but they've played 2 weeks? And Drew goes, he had 8 sacks last week.
against Arizona.
In that
It was
in their second, he had 8 sacks. One player, 8 sacks in one game. Is that a
granted
record
he
somewhere?
it's gotta be, but he also gets a pick on I don't know if it was an Fita or the backup, but he gets a pick. And now it should be well noted that when I was looking this dude up, there is freeze frames of him going against T Mac. So it's very possible that I didn't watch the whole game, so I couldn't tell
Oh,
you.
of him getting like fried,
It's very possible this
of
man
him
got
getting
cooked.
fried.
It's very possible this man got cooked.
Okay, but eight
But eight,
sacks,
but
eight
you, but you,
sacks,
you
bro.
can't overlook 8 sacks. And my boy Javari Ritzy, who had 6 tackles and 3 sacks. That's second in the nation. And this dude had 3 total sacks all of his other years at Carolina combined. So getting
Dang,
three
he had a
sacks in
game.
the so getting 3 sacks in this game is really good. As you can see, he's throwing up the 3. But he had a really, really good game. And I'm excited for Carolina. Now, speaking of Carolina, keeping it on brand, moving on to the special teams player of the week. One could say
You're
this is
literally such
also
a
a homer
homer.
pick. One could say this is a homer pick,
No,
but I don't really think so.
I like it. I like it.
Noah Burnett, who went 4 for 4 with a 29, 42, 52, and then he hit a 45 with like a minute and some change left for a game winner. And he looked amazing. And let's be honest, Noah Burnett has not always looked amazing. He is most infamous for, at least in Aiden's eyes, for his horrendous kick against App State, which didn't
Last
end up
year.
mattering. Didn't end up mattering. And then 2 years ago, he missed like a 25 or 23 yarder against NC State in overtime. Like shanked it really, really bad.
Yeah.
But that didn't matter because this year he's coming out to play. Noah Burnett on the road against Minnesota, who they were showing like the thing that they were showing during kicks, like that ugly looking gopher.
The gopher.
Yeah, and Minnesota is a big stadium, so I mean, but he looks really good. He kicks the game winner for us. We needed him. Our offense sucked, so
Yes.
really excited for him. And the infamous return of the Heisman rankings. Now,
Uh
this is the inaugural Heisman ranking, so this is very subject to change over the course of the year. In fact, you might not see any of these guys by next week. It's only because it's week 1.
yeah.
Starting off, number 5. I really don't like to do this. But Shedeur Sanders, I mean, he had a really, really good game. I mean, you throw for 445 and 4 tutties. He did have 1 pick, but it's just he looked elite, and I don't like to admit that, but this dude's probably a top 10 pick, and that's not just because his dad is Deion Sanders. He is really a talent. He is really that talented of a
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's much to add. He has a pretty good game against Nebraska this weekend. We'll see if he stays.
That'll be a
But
good QB matchup with Dylan Raiola.
yes, I'm liking to see. This sounds really weird to say, but I'm liking to see that he's throwing picks because last year he didn't throw a lot of picks because he took a lot of sacks. So
Well,
it
it
means that
means
he's
he's
he's letting the ball rip instead of just taking sacks like we all know he did last year.
yeah.
Moving on to number 4. Cam Ward. Now, I really contemplated him going higher, but he did only throw for 385 and 3 touchdowns. And you say, well, that's less than Colorado, or that's less than Shedeur Sanders. So it doesn't make sense for
But
Cam Ward to be above. But he did play
but
Florida. He did play
and
Florida.
and Shador played at
Plus,
FCS school.
but yeah. Plus, Cam Ward has been Aiden's guy for a year now. I mean, we both love him. So I would be lying if I didn't say it was a bit of a bias pick, but I don't think it is. He's that guy, and I think he's a guy that will probably, as long as Miami keeps winning, he'll continue to show up week by week on these Heisman rankings. Moving on, number 3, Shador's teammate, Travis Hunter. Now, once again, look at the stats: 7 for 132 and 3 touchdowns, which is a really good stat line. But it's like he he plays offense and defense. He came off two
Yeah.
plays. He came off
Yeah.
2 plays all last game, and one of them was because his helmet came off, and so he had to come off the field. Like, this dude is playing both sides of the ball, and he's playing really well. So you gotta give credit where credit is due, and Travis Hunter deserves to be 3 on this slot. Moving on to number 2, Ashton Genty. I know we said we were gonna talk about. I said I was gonna talk about these guys a little more. 20 carries, 267 yards, 6 tutties. That's good for 13.4 yards per attempt. And I mean, we already went over him, so and you already know who number one's gonna be. So there's not
Yeah.
much to say. T Mac, 10 receptions, 34 yards, 4 tutties, 30 yards to catch. Not much more to say.
Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about these guys.
They cooked, bro. They cooked.
They cooked. Moving on to this upcoming week, our favorite team's games for the week, and it's gonna be a bit of a shorter segment for this week because we have a little
A little
game,
conflict. We got a
two of our
conflict.
team, little conflict of interest, and UNC versus Charlotte play this week. I will not be in attendance. Um, I know, boring. I should be in attendance for two of my favorite college teams playing, but I chose to be with my friends instead of being by myself. You can't hate me for that one. But uh Carolina and Charlotte. Plus, I don't think this is gonna be much competitive of a game. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw you saw what JMU did to Charlotte, and I think UNC is a better team than JMU. We'll actually find out about that next week. UNC, Charlotte, and JMU have this little love triangle going on, I guess, because UNC plays JMU next week. But uh, I think UNC wins this game. I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my dome ski what the spread is, but whatever it is, Carolina's gonna cover
Not
it.
good. Yeah.
Carolina's gonna cover it. Um, Not much to say. I'm excited to watch Connor Harrell play, and that's what it is. Oh, cut that part out. Moving
All
on
right.
to NC State versus Tennessee.
So Drew isn't gonna be in attendance for Carolina and Charlotte, but both Drew and I will be in attendance for NC State versus Tennessee.
Yep.
Um, let's just say I am so excited for this game. Now, but a top 25 matchup, Duke's Mayo Classic. Literally, this is cinema. We hope so because Tennessee looked really good last week and NC State looked a little meh. But hopefully
Mm,
NC State can get their stuff together and we can watch some good football in Charlotte. Now, again, don't know what the spread is. Oh, yeah, I do. Is this Tennessee 6.5? I
I think
believe.
so. Something like that.
I think it's Tennessee 6.5. That's a pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee does cover because it's only
I wouldn't
seven
be
points. It's
surprised
not a lot,
either. Yeah.
but I do think this will be a good game. I think NC State's defense really needs to step up this week. They looked a little lackluster last week
Young
against Western.
quarterback. You have to think about it. It's a young quarterback for
Yes,
Tennessee
we are going against
versus a veteran quarterback who's been in these situations before.
exactly. So I do think NC State does have some like bright spots, I
Veteran.
guess.
Oh,
Some
okay, yeah,
veterans.
bright
Thank you.
spots.
Veterans. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully we can show Nico Imaleva uh what Power Four football is really about because he hasn't played any yet. Aside from, did he play last year's bowl game?
I believe so, yes. I
All
believe he
right.
did. I
And
think I
now
think the main. Sorry, go ahead.
and now Joe Milton's on the Patriots, and I know he sucks. So if Nico Imaleva was sitting behind Joe Milton, we're good.
I think the main story of this matchup is kids from North Carolina, because Tennessee has a kid, Nathan Leacock, who I played basketball with, who went to Millbrook. And State, we already know who they have. Mel Rogers, Wesley Grimes, my boy Colson, Lex. I mean, who cares about anything else? This is just the battle of our local high schools.
Oh God.
No. I think this will be a good game. This will be my second year in a row I'll be going to a Duke's Mayo Classic,
And then
and
next year we
and
going
the next
again.
next year I'll be making it 3 years in a row, and God knows what will happen in the fourth. Well, we don't know that matchup yet, but
Yeah, but
I
going
think
to this
I
game, I'm gonna stick with my squad. I'm going state just because I
um
really hope that we win this. But I think that this is the one game that stands uh in between NC State. going undefeated because I think if we win this, Clemson didn't look good. We'll see how Clemson plays this week against which we will talk about. But yeah, I think Clemson didn't look too good and Tennessee looked really good. So I think this is the one game standing in between an NC State NC State college football playoff appearance. That would be awesome.
I'm honestly this team's kind of crazy to me, but I'm gonna go for rooting for the ACC. I really do want State to win this game, and that sounds crazy coming from a Carolina fan, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it does. You
I
wouldn't
want the
find me
Wolf
doing that.
I want the Wolfpack. I want the Wolfpack to pull this one out. I don't really like Tennessee all that much. Speaking of Clemson and App State, they play this week. App State travels to Death Valley, and I'll let Aiden give you a little preview for this one.
I'll just put it like this. App State's no stranger to winning big games on the road.
No, they're not.
And Clemson didn't look any good last week, and App State looked pretty good last week. Now I don't want to say that should be a 25, but
They're 25.
whatever.
Oh yeah, because State's 24.
Yeah. Um, I don't want to say this is gonna be a good game, but I really think it will be. I think App State has the players, has the tools to be able to keep up with Clemson, a team that doesn't use the transfer portal. I also saw a stat. I saw a statistic. There were four schools in all of FBS that had zero players out of the transfer portal, like that recruited zero players out of the
Some
transfer
military
portal.
schools in Clemson.
It was a bunch of military schools who I believe can't use the transfer portal.
They're not allowed. The players can transfer out, but they can't take transfers in.
Yeah, they can't transfer in. And Clemson got zero players out of the transfer portal,
Because
which I
Dabo
believe
doesn't
is
believe.
crazy. And I think Dabo needs to open his eyes. I think Dabo needs
He
to
does.
see
He's
that
a
the
good
transfer
coach.
portal
One of the
this
best
is
in college football.
yes. He got 11 wins with DJ Uyunglele. Um
So yeah, I know. It's
which
crazy.
I
Nah,
mean, that's the greatest coaching performance I've ever
don't
seen.
even give him the breath out of your mouth. He doesn't deserve it. That team sucks.
No, but but Dabo needs to understand that we're like sure the way the transfer portal worked previously was fine and it worked for them, but we're in this new era of college football, you have to be able to recruit from other schools and bring in talent to help you because in the most recent years we've only seen a steady decline from Clemson. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's not 100%. It's like they do need to bring in the occasional transfer, but I mean, but you look at Florida
yeah,
State. You look at Florida State, who does use the transfer portal a lot, and I just said not to use your breath on them, but I guess I am. They suck. So obviously, it's all about getting the right players.
And I would like to say the spread on this game is only 16 and a half. So I think App State could very easily cover this if Clemson plays how they did last week, um, which
You know
was
what? Let
not good.
let's be bold. Let's be bold. Not only will they cover the spread,
App State gonna win.
they're
App
gonna
State's gonna
outright win.
win. App
Take the
State's gonna
App State
win.
money line.
Oh my God. Joey
Put
Aguilar
all
for
the
Heisman.
units. Put all the
Joey Aguilar
units
for
on App State
Heisman.
money line. Clemson ain't ever no Glaze, no Diddy. Clemson ain't ever had a team like App State come in and App State ain't you they're used to the environment. This ain't new to them. I
They are giving
saw,
Clemson an 82% chance to win though.
yeah, that's why I'm 80% chance I'm right. Moving on. Week two game. I'm set week two game of the week because there's really only one good game
Yeah.
besides like Tennessee
Apps and App State and Clemson.
we'll see.
Let's not get
Okay,
ahead of
cool.
ourselves.
Okay. Our week two game of the week, because there's not many great games this week, is a pretty big one. Texas versus Michigan. And if I'm being honest, this is on ranking 3 versus 10, but I have a sneaking suspicion based on both of these teams' last week's games that Texas, I think, is going to win this game by multiple scores.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan just did not look good against Fresno State, who, granted, Aiden did pick to win the Mountain West, so they have a little respect from us. But still, Michigan should take care of them. I feel like Michigan lost a lot of players, and I think Texas just looked phenomenal.
Yeah. And
Um,
they even brought in Arch Manning and he put up 2 touchdowns.
yeah, and hit that crazy celebration, which I will not be repeating. Um,
Is that
but
bad? I
yeah,
don't know what it is.
it's like I don't even know, but I think Texas wins this game by multiple scores.
So do I. Yeah.
NFL, woo!
Oh my God.
NFL
We're so
starts
back.
this Thursday, and I just went
Tomorrow
ahead
as of
and
recording.
yeah, I just went ahead and put this up, and we're just gonna go through. Now, we could keep the same energy with college and pick the over unders on our favorite teams. Um, that's just putting Aiden out through so much pain. That's
Yeah.
just putting us through so much pain.
I
Both
just
our
had like
teams,
war flashbacks when you said that. I was dead
both our
silent.
both our teams suck.
Yeah.
But let's just start off a really, really good kickoff game
Oh my
to
God. Yeah.
start off this year. The Chiefs play 2 years in a row in the kickoff game, and they
Well, they
play the
always have they
Baltimore
always have the
Ravens.
Super Bowl winner. They always have the
They
Super Bowl
do.
winner ranking play it.
And I'm really looking forward to this game, obviously, because it's two probably favorites. I mean, this is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship, which is a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like Chiefs regular season is like right here, and then they just like they turn it up in the playoffs.
Oh
I mean,
my
they
God.
did they,
Yeah.
they did lose last year in this exact game
To the
to the
Lions.
Lions. So I want to say Ravens just off of pure fact that I think the Ravens have a really good defense. They have Lamar Jackson, who's the reigning MVP, whether that's deserved or not, is the reigning MVP. And I just feel like they're a really good, really good regular season team. So I'm gonna go Ravens here.
I just I'm gonna go Ravens as well. The Ravens upgraded on offense. They bring in Derrick Henry, but they do lose Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins both to the Chargers actually. Um,
And God knows that Keaton Mitchell is gonna come back. But
yeah, God knows when Keaton Mitchell's gonna come back, but I just think I and it sounds crazy, but I think the Ravens offense is too much for the Chiefs defense because the Chiefs lost L'Jarius Sneed. It was L'Jarius Sneed, right? Trent McDuffie's
to
still
the
on the Chiefs.
Titans, to the
Yeah,
Titans.
L'Jarius Sneed goes to the Titans, and I just think that the Ravens offense, literally, you have two guys in the backfield who are like you've Derrick Henry who can run everybody over. So they're gonna have the option. They're gonna have the option plays. Not only read option, they're gonna have speed option, triple option,
John Harbaugh is
R
gonna have so much fun.
RPOs. Yeah, he's gonna have
I
so much
mean,
fun with this school team.
you also have Pat Ricard, who's a top two, top three fullback in the league.
Yeah,
So
and this isn't me saying the Chiefs defense is bad. I know the Chiefs defense is really good, but I just think that the Ravens have playmakers that are too much to keep up with.
in the regular season, got
Yes, in the regular season.
I think if this is playoffs when it matters the most, the Chiefs win, unfortunately. Uh, moving on to a Friday game, which is in Brazil. Another really good game, at least it should be Packers versus Eagles. Now, the Eagles upgraded their team a good amount. They lose Hassan Reddick, who is a big loss for the defense. But man, he's a little crybaby over here throwing temper tantrums for the Jets and probably for the
Uh-huh.
Eagles. So it's a good character to get off of. You add Jahan Dotson and of course Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
and it it's kind of like the same thing for the Ravens. You have Nick Sirianni who can just have fun with Jalen Hurts who can run the ball really well, and you also have
Saquon,
Saquon
and then
Barkley who's a phenomenal
on
running
top of
back,
it, you
and
have all of the wide receivers at your disposal.
you literally have AJ Brown who's a top five receiver. Yeah, I'm sticking to that. Top five receiver. You have Devonta Smith, who's probably the best wide receiver two in the league. I mean,
Yeah,
he could literally be a wide receiver one in probably half of the NFL's teams.
send him to New England. We want him.
And then you have Jahan Dotson, who I feel like I don't think it's crazy to say he has upside to be a wide receiver one for any team. Um,
He is super young,
he is very young, and
and then you also have Dallas Goddard.
you lose Jason Kelsey, obviously,
Yeah,
and that's a huge loss. But the offensive line is still phenomenal.
yeah,
So, I say all this to say that they're probably that I'm taking the Packers week one. I
dude, that's
say
like
all
Pat McAfee doing the Georgia like fight song, and then going, "I'm
yes.
picking Bama."
I say all that to say that I'm going Packers week one. I just love Matt LaFleur. I love the way he coaches, and I feel like the this sounds
The
crazy
Eagles fell apart.
because the Eagles fell apart, and the the Packers. I mean, you add Josh Jacobs, who we know took a step back, but he's 2 years removed from being the league's leading rusher. So, I mean, that's a huge, huge addition. You have Christian Watson, who could very well break out into a wide. Aiden hopes he breaks out into a huge wide receiver one role this year. You have
Yeah,
Jaden Reed, who I love personally. You
and
have
you got Romeo Dubs,
Romeo
Dontayvion
Dobbs,
Wicks.
who just shows your go up and get a receiver, and you have Jordan Love, who I don't know how to feel. He looked really good to end the year last year, but it's
Yeah,
really I'm not at the point where I'm willing to put a stamp on him as top 10, top
yeah.
15 quarterback
I don't
because
think Jordan Love's
I
there.
really need to see more. It was more of a last 4 or 5 games type of thing for the Green Bay
Yeah,
Packers. But I think they win. I don't know. I just have a sneaky suspicion they win this game in Brazil.
I mean, I'll take the Packers too. I think these are very two evenly matched teams, but I feel like the Eagles are going to run into a problem. And whether it's someone's not getting the ball as much as they want to because their team is so talented.
Yeah, it's like Duke
But
basketball.
exactly. But I like the Packers. I think they looked really good towards the end of the year last year, beating up or upsetting the Cowboys in the playoffs. But I'll take the Packers.
And I think for sake of time for these 1 o'clock games, we can just try our best to get through these.
We'll pick our
Um,
winners. We'll pick our winners.
yeah. So
Falcons,
Falcons,
Steelers. I'm taking the Falcons.
I'm going Falcons.
Taking the Falcons.
Um, I mean,
I'm taking the
Bills,
Bills. I'm
pretty
taking the
easy.
Bills. Uh,
Ah, I just
a lot of people are taking the Titans this game.
I don't want to say it, but I'm going Bears.
I'm going Bears too.
Bengals,
Who knows if Jamar Chase is playing? I think this is an upsettable game, but I am taking the Bengals. Sadly,
well, Jamar Chase actually practiced today.
I know I saw.
If Drake, hey, let's keep it short and simple. If Drake May was playing, the
It's a dub. It's a
Pats
dub.
win by at least 50. Um, yeah, but he's not.
It's okay.
Jacoby Brissett's
I don't
in.
want Drake May to die behind our horrendous offensive line, so I'm
Yeah, who
cool
would
with
ever do
it.
that to their quarterback? Moving on. Um,
Texans.
I just feel like you
No, you're not gonna say
the
that. No, 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 no.
the Colts always get that one crazy AFC South win. I'm not saying it's
Yes,
this
but the
week. I'm not saying
Texans,
it's this
bro.
week. This is a
Pick the
team that lost.
Texans.
Whatever. Texans. Um, give me T-Law. Give me the
Oh,
Jags. Give me the Jags.
I hate the Dolphins, but I gotta go Dolphins. I have to.
Okay,
I'm
this
actually,
sounds like
I'm
such
actually,
a homer pick. This sounds like such a homer
I'm
pick.
going
I'm going to
Panthers. I'm going
Panthers.
Panthers. I'm going
I think
Panthers.
I think they win. I think they win this game. I'm not saying they win a bunch of games this year, but I think that they beat the Saints because
Here's the thing. I think you guys last year Bryce Young had zero time in the pocket, but we saw glimpses of Bryce Young whenever he had time, whenever there
this
wasn't very much
preseason, that
pressure.
one drive.
No, even last year there were plays where Bryce Young wasn't getting pressured immediately off the
Yeah,
snap, and you guys invested lots of money into that offensive line this past season or this past offseason. And
ninth
so
highest paid offense in
you
the
guys
league.
you guys better hope and pray that Bryce Young doesn't die this game, or else you're in for another long
I
season. But
think, and
I
you,
do
of
think the
course,
Panthers start 1-0.
you have Cam Jordan, so it's gonna be a nightmare. But I feel like more than Bryce Young, a really big storyline is Ike Ekwonu gonna be his rookie year self or his second year self? Because his rookie year he allowed like 2 sacks to Miles Garrett and Cam Jordan, but his second year last year he sucked. He gave up like 12 sacks, maybe more. And we all know he's a run block. I mean, we all know he's a run blocking guy. He's really good at run blocking. We knew that coming out
Yeah.
of state. Um, and of course, no storyline. JC Horn, will he play for more than one drive? I hope so. Moving on, not Packers, Vikings, Giants.
Oh, the Giants just suck so
They just
bad.
both these teams, I just feel
I'm taking
like
the Vikings.
I'll go
Okay, the
Vikings.
Vikings don't suck. It's just they don't have a court. I mean, they do. They have Sam Darnold, but it's
The
such a shame
GOAT.
that JJ McCarthy got injured.
Yeah, it really
Um,
is.
um,
Although credit to him, if he didn't get hurt, he would probably have to throw the ball, and we know that JJ McCarthy doesn't like do that very often. So,
oh my
um,
God. Oh my God. Give me the Vikings. Raiders, Chargers. Both of these teams kind of stink, but I'm I'm
Chargers,
I'm taking the
Turbo,
Chargers. Broncos, Seahawks.
gimme,
Uh,
gimme Broncos,
taking the Seahawks. I'm taking Seahawks.
gimme
Uh,
Cowboys, Browns, gimme the Cowboys.
I'm taking the
I
Cowboys.
Deshaun Watson ain't it for me. Give me the Give me the Bucks.
Commanders. I'm just kidding. The Bucks.
I was thinking Commanders, but this is the
No, no.
first game for Jane Daniels. Well,
Mm.
and then Sunday Night
I'm taking
Football
Bakey. I'm taking Bakey.
effects. Sunday Night Football and a
Uh,
rematch of the divisional round last year, except for I think
except
no
for
Matt
Aaron
Stafford.
Donald's not in the league anymore.
Yes, but
So give me the Lions.
Matt Stafford goes back to yeah, yeah, because he was in Detroit last year in the playoff game, I believe.
Yeah.
A very good game. I don't know.
Give me the Lions.
it's gonna be another good game. It's gonna be another good game. I'll go Lions, but I think it'll be a good game. And
And
then
then give me the Niners, bro. I will literally
Niners.
stand on a 100-foot pedestal and scream at the top of my lungs that the Jets are overrated.
Yeah. Uh, but you mean Aaron Rodgers is what a 4-time MVP, and he doesn't seem like he's slowing down all that much. You know, he's going through his crystal storage. You know,
Oh my God.
he's spending his time in his dark caves. Um,
The
so we'll
the
see.
Niners have way too much talent, literally on
Is Dre
offense and
now?
defense.
I genuinely have no clue. Is Dre Greenlaw healthy? Do you know? He
Oh,
can't
because
be. He
he
can't
tore his
be.
Achilles in the Super Bowl.
And that's February. That's like
That's 6 months
what,
ago.
6 months? I feel
Probably
like that
nine because Super Bowl is beginning of February.
that's
Probably
true.
9 months or sorry, 7.
7 months. I mean, like I don't know. I don't think so. Like he can't because an ACL or Achilles tear is a pretty lengthy recovery time.
I mean, that's what Aaron Rodgers had.
I know, but that's a pretty lengthy recovery time.
I'm taking the
So
Niners.
I know I'm taking the Niners regardless as well. I just wanted to put it out there. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can actually play. I didn't see the thing that was like Leonard Floyd sacked Aaron Rodgers last year against the or for the Bills and towards Achilles. and Leonard
Uh-huh.
Floyd is on the Niners. So that's definitely a story to follow there. And of course, the Niners have an elite edge rusher in Yetur Gross-Matos. Um,
Not the direction I
absolutely,
thought you were going, but yeah, we'll go with it.
absolutely elite. And then I guess what
Nick, that Bosa guy, that Bosa guy
That
is
Bosa guy, I guess Joey Bosa is his
uh
name. Joey
not
Bosa, I
Nick,
want to say. Oh,
his brother Nick.
oh, Nick Bosa. Yeah. He's pretty good,
He's
isn't he?
he yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of the Stix. We will catch y'all next Friday. Peace.
See you guys.